Hey guys, I wanted to release another video. I've been doing a lot of thinking about red flags and about my dating life, my career, if you will, right? And I wanted to talk a little bit about red flags and things that, I wanted to release the video on dating and how to become better with women, that sort of thing. And, the summary of it, just in case you guys haven't seen that just yet, go back and watch it. And the summary of it is just make yourself a better person and do your own thing and just kind of beat to your own drum. And women will come, man. I mean, women will show up in your life when you least expect it. I've gotten some of the best dates or girlfriends, you know what I mean, when I wasn't looking. Quite frankly, I was just doing my own thing. I was just enjoying my life. And next thing you know, women just kind of popped up, But I don't know, for some reason, man, they just feel, right? They get that vibe that you're just having a good time, that you're just enjoying life, So they dig that vibe, and next thing you know, they come, you put that vibe out into the universe and you get it back. Think about it, right? Say, just do an experiment, right? Go to the store, go in your daily life and just smile at people, or say hi, or, start interactions with them. Just make them laugh. Just try to make them laugh. You know what I mean? Just do that. Just go through your day, a normal day, and see what the difference is. You know what I mean? And I guarantee you, and tell somebody something nice. You have a really great smile, or, you have beautiful eyes, or just something like that, and see what kind of reaction you get. No big deal. You're not doing anything. But that's where you practice, man. That's where you practice. You get out there, you start doing stuff, and like I said, I've had a couple bad dates not too long ago, and it's kind of gotten me like, I really, I don't give a shit, right now. I'm just like kind of like, just focused on myself, focused on my dog, the people that I really care about, and that's pretty much it, and I just go through my life doing my thing, and I'll get back into it. It's not a big deal right now, but I don't care enough right now. You know what I mean? I really don't. But when I do, it has big changes on my life, And I get, like, I just went to the store right now, and there was this lady. She had a really good vibe about her. She was just really cool. We just started talking to her, and you spark up conversations with people like that. I'm telling you right now, man, it's going to make a huge difference, and women are going to start coming up because you're approachable, right? You're approachable. Don't be on your phone. Don't be listening to your headphones. Don't be doing any of that shit. Just be out in the world and experience the world. That's all I can say. So that's everything in a nutshell. But I kind of want to talk about these red flags that Rich Cooper put out, and it's really interesting. So the first one is daddy issues. I dated a woman not too long ago. I dated a lot of women with daddy issues. I think there was one woman that didn't have daddy issues, and she had a really great relationship with her dad. And the difference with her was that, all the women that did have daddy issues, they were all insecure, always, worried about what I was doing. And when people do that, it's just a reflection of themselves, so them worrying about me, worrying about if I was going to cheat and that sort of thing, really they need to look in the mirror, and they need to really understand if they're doing that, My ex-fiance was probably the worst one. She had a dad that did some cheating early on in her early years, and that was her example. He was a police officer, and really good looking dude. I saw him in some pictures. I never got to meet him because he passed away, but You know, very charismatic, you know, had a lot going for him, but he got married early, you know, and he had his kids and all that sort of thing. And he wanted to go out and venture the world, you know, and he had the personality to do it. The only thing was that he was married. So he ended up jumping around, you know, to a couple women and stuff. And that was her example. And, you know, it created a lot of insecurity in our relationship. So it boiled over. So these are the types of things that you really have to understand. You have to ask women. So the one that I dated when I was about 30, 35 years old to 40, she was really solid with her dad. She came from a really great family. She came from a really great background as far as her dad. Her and her dad had a really good relationship. And it showed because she was really confident. She did her own thing. The only difference with her was that she was masculine. She was a masculine type woman, you know, and I don't think that was her fault necessarily. The problem is that she dated a lot of men, with the exception of me, that were not masculine. So she always felt like she needed to be in her masculine. So by the time she got to me, she tried to be in her masculine, and I wouldn't let her. You know what I mean? We'd always clash. I remember one time, I'll give you an example. One time we were out dancing and she tried to lead. I was like, wait a minute, no. I'm the guy, I'm leading. You know what I mean? And so we she was real cool about it. She didn't fight me on it too much. She thought it was actually kind of refreshing. And, you know, now she looks for somebody who's more masculine, you know? So I kind of helped her with that. I hope. But my ex-fiance was the complete opposite. You know, she had abandonment issues. You know, her dad kind of left her at a young age because, you know, he actually put more importance on the women that he was dating than her. I mean, I remember one time she told me that he didn't show up to her birthday party because, you know, he was with the woman that he was dating at the time. So, you know, you got to be really careful with that, guys. You know, up front, I would say, you know, hey, what's your relationship like with your dad? And when you date the woman, you know, if you decide to date her after those conversations, I would really pay really close attention. You know, be really aware of how they interact and that sort of thing. And, you know, it's really important that you do that. So that's my experience with daddy issues. The next one is feminists. Okay, so, you know, I haven't had too much interaction because I've always been in my masculine for the most part, you know, but, you know, I've worked with some women who are feminists. I've worked, you know, they were on the light side of feminism. You know, I never ran into the super feminists, you know. Actually, there was one. Okay, there was one. She was a CEO for the Boys and Girls Club, man, and she was really cool. I mean, really cool chick, right? But she wanted to run everything, and to be honest with you, you know, and to her credit, right? I think she was just running into a lot of guys that weren't masculine, man. I mean, let's face it, you know, a lot of men aren't. And but she was really in her masculine because she had a really good job. She was the CEO of this company. She, you know, she was really intelligent. You know, just fantastic, just great to talk to. You know what I mean? But she was a little bit, for lack of a better term, in your face. You know what I mean? And you know, she had no life. That was part of it too, right? Her work was her life and her life was her work. And you know, you got to be really careful with that, guys. You know, so that's really my experience with it. I've never been on the extreme end of like a feminist, like somebody who's like boss girl or any of that kind of shit. I've never really dealt with any of that. I've seen it, but I've never dated it. The only feminist that I did, I would call her a feminist, but on the light side, is the CEO. But I mean, she was successful. She did very well in her life, and she was proud of it, and I'm proud of her for it. You know what I mean? I have nothing against her whatsoever, but it was just, honestly, it was kind of a turnoff for me. And we're already, I don't want to say, I was in my late 30s. We were both in our late 30s because we were the same age. And, she wanted me to come into her world. And I was like, oh, hell no, man. I don't like this, man. I went to go visit her one time because she lived in Las Vegas. And it was just, it didn't feel right, man. It really didn't feel right. I don't like going into women's worlds, you know what I mean? And being part, I don't mind seeing it and getting a taste of it, to see how they live and that sort of thing. And you always should. But the only problem is that she wanted me to be part of her life. Like, I think if her and I had gotten together, she would want me to move up to Las Vegas and move in with her. I was like, nah, fuck that. I won't do that. I just won't do that. So, you got to be really careful with that, guys. I don't have any experience with any other types of feminists, but just pay attention, be aware, and just sit back and I mean, for a lot of these, and I want to preface this, right? For a lot of these red flag issues, right? I mean, you just kind of have to sit back and pay attention for the most part, Don't get fully emotionally invested, is my suggestion. Just make sure that you're aware and you pay attention to what's going on, right? And just be aware of these red flags, But a lot of times, if you're really looking for them, you're gonna find them, right? And sometimes they're not there. So just be real careful with that. That's all I'm saying. The other one is the unhappy, unlucky. Unfortunately, I've run into a lot of these. It's those women that don't have a positive outlook on life. They're just kind of negative. I dated this one girl. She worked at one of those big warehouse type stores. I think it was Costco or something. And she was cool, man. I mean, she was a cool chick, and she was beautiful, but she just was negative Nelly all the time, man. Pessimist, just, couldn't see the glass half full for nothing, man. I mean, it was always the glass half empty, always something was going wrong. And these people are like crabs in a bucket, man. They will bring you down. They're anchors in the ocean, and they will bring you down with them. So, because for some reason, they just cannot see just the positive side of things, how beautiful life is and how lucky they are. I mean, she made, I don't know, she made like, I want to say like 50, 60 grand, right? And she did very little at work. I mean, I was like, dude, and when you work at Costco, I don't know if any of you know this, but when you work at Costco, it's like a family place. So you're kind of locked in. It's very difficult to get fired from a Costco, from what I understand. I mean, that's what I've been told. That's what I understand. I have a couple friends, but I mean, dude, she had it really good, and they loved her. So it was one of those things. You just got to be really careful, because that's going to suck the life out of you, and you don't want that. You want, first of all, you want to, and pay attention to my last video that I did not too long ago. You want to build yourself up. And you want to be around people who build you up. If you're around negative people like that, especially somebody that you're dating, it's okay. You're going to encounter negative people. But, if it's somebody you're dating, man, that's that's a recipe for disaster, in the long run. So just be real careful with that, guys. She competes with you is the next one, number 4. I've seen some of this. I dated a girl when I was like, I don't know, 24 years old, that we went and played volleyball one time, man, and she was just like a fucking animal, man. And I was like, and there was other red flags there, trust me, you know what I mean? But this is the first one that comes to mind. She was just awful when we played sports, when we played, volleyball was her sport, and I was just like, and I wasn't a big volleyball player, man. I could hold my own, and I'm tall enough and that sort of thing, so I was able to do what I need to do. But man, she was like kind of horrible, man, and I was just like, dude, you got to be with somebody that you can really vibe with and that builds you up, like I said, and this is gonna be a reoccurring theme in this video, right? You want somebody that builds you up, looks at the glass half full instead of half empty, and is just a positive force in your life, because they're not going to be an anchor, they're going to be a sail, and they're going to help you get to where you need to go. And this woman that I was with, she was kind of unhappy and unlucky too. She just could not. I remember this was during 9/11 when I dated her, man, and she would sit there in front of the TV and just cry and cry and cry. And you know what? Okay, 9/11 was sad. But the way I looked at it was, hey, this is a time to reflect on our lives. This is a time to say, that we're lucky. And, it's a time to really hold on to the people that we really care about, because, God forbid something like that could happen, a tragedy like that, and they're not here. So, that's kind of the positive spin that I put on it, even though it was an awful situation. But she couldn't get out of that hole of just crying all the time, and I mean, I get it, but you have to move on. You have to keep chugging along. Life is going to throw you curveballs. It's going to hand you lemons, man. What are you going to do? You're going to hit that shit over the fence, or make lemonade, or just sit back and just let life pound you in the ass. You know what I mean? It's one of those things, man. You got to keep moving. Red flag number 5 is keeps men from her past around. God damn. If I had a nickel for every time this happened to me, man, I'd be fucking Bill Gates. I'm serious. There was always, women always have a backup plan. And if you listen to some of my other videos and been part of the red pill community, you're going to know hypergamy is one of the biggest things, right? So the thing is, you guys, you got to make yourself the best that you can with what you have. And, and that's all you can do, But if a woman, is hiding her phone, keeping, I'll give you an example. So my ex-fiance, when I was first with her, I mean, I had her full attention. We were vibing, we were peas in a pod, like Forrest Gump. But then when I got back with her after, I broke up with her because she was drinking, then I got back with her during COVID, she was a completely different person, And she was always on social media. She was always on TikTok, always doing stuff on her phone. I mean, she was a completely different person. I don't know, maybe she was a completely different person than what I knew, right? But when what Maya Angelou says, right, is when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. I kind of believe that was her. She was just basically pretending to be the person that I met, So I think I never caught her because I'm not that kind of person, you know what I mean? But my intuition, my inner voice was telling me, something's different. Something's not right here. You know what I mean? And I make a long story short, I caught her, drinking again. So I was just, and then that coupled with the other stuff that I was seeing, it was just, Chinese Communist parade full of red flags and shit. You know what I mean? I'm just not doing it. You know what I mean? So, and you got to be real careful for the alpha widow too. You know what I mean? So like, if a woman dated somebody in her life that was an alpha and they miss them, chances are they're going to go back to him. I dated the girl I dated after my ex fiance. She was tied to her ex, and that was a religious thing, I think that was a religious thing. They grew up together. They had a lot of history together. So, they were talking in the background, and I kind of knew that. And, my intuition again was kicking in and telling me, nah, I don't think this is the right situation for you, Rich. So you got to pay really close attention to that, guys. So that's my experience. Poor with money. I dated a lot of women. The last woman I dated about, 9 months ago, she told me she was in a shit ton of debt, man. And I was like, nah, that put her to plate status right then and there. You know what I mean? I'm not dealing with that. I'm not paying for your shit. I met a lot of women that were in debt from their education, buying handbags and shit like that, real materialistic and that sort of thing. And they just never vibed with me, man. I didn't like that, I like nice things. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? But, if I can't afford it, I won't buy it. It's one of those, I just won't do it, and I'm not going to pay for somebody else's bullshit, some of their bad decisions. I've made some more my own bad decisions over the years, like going to school for as long as I did and shit like that. And I'll talk about that in a separate video, but stuff like that, you got to pay really close attention to. Just make sure you and the one thing that you don't want to be is a captain, right? A captain save a hoe. And you just don't want to do that. You don't want to be paying for somebody else's shit or taking care of them. There's a song by Ty Dolla $ign. It's called Saved. If you get a chance, listen to that one, man, because and E40 made Captain Sabaho, and I mean, dude, he talks about that shit all the time. So you got to be really cognizant of that, right? I mean, you have your funding, your bank accounts, you take care of your shit. Let her take care of hers, man. I don't care how hot she is. Unless you're trying to get the girlfriend experience, then okay, buy her some shit, but just make sure you're getting an ROI out of that, right? You're getting something out of it. So if you go to like a Seeking Arrangements or something like that, you're getting something for it. There's a transaction there. I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying if you do it, just make sure you're getting something out of it, right? And don't get emotionally invested, man. Keep yourself at arm's length, always. The next one is violent women. Violent women, I gotta admit, and I hate saying this, but my ex was kind of violent when she got drunk. And that was just something that was the last straw. That was actually, she told me one time, F you, and I left the house and I was out, you know what I mean? And I ended up going back because I was just like, maybe that was a one-off, that sort of thing. And I should, in retrospect, I should have been gone then and there, you know what I mean? Because it just got worse after that. And when she was drinking, she'd get real insecure. So her daddy issues would pop up. And then next thing you know, she's getting really violent. And the thing that happened with her was, I was packing up my shit. I was gonna leave, just pack up my shit and just go to my mom's house for the night. I mean, that's all I was gonna do because we were, we were kind of in an argument, but I don't like to argue, you know what I mean? I just walk away. And especially, I don't like to argue if we're not in the right state of mind. I don't like to argue, period. Okay. But if you're not in the right state of mind, it just gets worse. What I like to do is sit down, talk rationally about it, and see how we can meet, on common ground. And I always told her, I said, when you get like that, when I get in my moods or whatever, let's go sit down. Let's have a conversation about it, right? But unfortunately, that night it didn't happen that way. I tried to de-escalate the situation. It just got worse, and it was getting worse in front of her daughter. And by that time, her daughter had blamed me for a lot of shit when it was really her mom that was causing a lot of the issues because of her drinking. And I was trying to leave, and she ended up hitting me. Did I hit her back? No, fuck no. I would never do that. But I had to call the police on her, and I had to have the police escort me out of the house. And that was the last time I was with her. So just be aware of that. I don't put up with that shit. You shouldn't either. Extreme jealousy. My ex, and you're going to see a lot of red flags, man. I'm glad I got out now that I'm talking about it, right? She was very jealous, Like, I had a friend that, she was like a sister to me. She was literally like a sister to me. To this day, I still think of her as kind of like a sister. She's cool, and my ex was really jealous of her. She's like, oh, she wants you and this and that. And I'm like, and I just don't want to put up with that. I don't. It's just one of those things. I was like, before I got to the red pill, though, I'll be honest with you, man, I was worried about that, but I always had in the back of my mind that women were not loyal, just out of my experience. Ever since I was 15 years old, man, I've learned that lesson the hard way. And to be honest with you, it's just something that kind of always stayed with me. And, I was, to this day, man, I still don't trust a chick as far. In fact, I could probably throw them further than I can trust them. It's just one of those things. So I don't get fully invested anymore, So you got to watch out for the extreme jealousy. If chances are, if somebody's being extremely jealous with you, they're doing what they accuse you of. You know what I mean? And that was always the case in my case. And that was multiple women, guys. My ex, I'll use my ex-fiance, and the ex that I dated after my fiance, they were both talking to other dudes, and I found out later. You know what I mean? So, and they were being extremely jealous with me because I've been dating for a long time. I've been dating. That's been my life. You know what I mean? I've never been married. So I've been dating, I've been dating casually for years, ever since I was pretty much in high school, you know what I mean? So, they get jealous of my lifestyle, and they would kind of use that against me, and I never thought that was fair, but it is what it is. The next one, number 9, is party girls. You got to be real careful with the party girls, man. I've been around a lot of party girls. Usually when you get into the late teens, early 20s, they're partying it up, man. You also have to be really careful with the women that get, that are newly divorced. Let them go out and do their thing. Don't take them serious. Just use them as a plate, spin them as a plate, and have fun with them. Just, hang out, have fun, hook up kind of thing, but don't get serious about them. You know what I mean? And be aware of what they're doing out there, women that like to go to parties without you, or go on girls weekends and shit like that. Just say nah, If you're going to be in a committed relationship, if you're going to be just dating casually, go do what you want to do. But if you're going to be in a relationship, if she talks about exclusivity first, and you decide, okay, I'm going to be more exclusive with this woman, then that kind of shit is out, man. That kind of shit is out. Like one of my teachers used to say OAT. I don't know why you couldn't spell it, but OUT, man. Get her out of your life, man. Don't deal with that shit, man. Just say, hey, hey, go do your thing. Go have fun. I told the girl I was dating after my ex-fiance, I told her, I said, hey, you just got newly divorced. Why don't you go out and have a good time, man? Go enjoy yourself. No, I want to be with you and this and that. And so I just kept her as a plate. I was just chilling with her. You know what I mean? So, but I never got emotionally involved, right? I never went further than that. So just be real careful with that, guys. So that's kind of mine. Heavily tattooed and pierced women. Honestly, man, I never liked tattoos. That's like putting a bumper sticker on a Ferrari. You know what I mean? You just don't fucking do it. Women are beautiful creatures, man. I mean, they are just, dude, I love every part of a woman. I mean, they're just, love it. You know what I mean? And I don't know why they fuck up their bodies like that. The other thing too is, and okay, this may sound mean, but I really don't give a fuck. Getting overweight. Dude, I don't understand that, man. Jesus Christ. Dude, if you would just maintain what you had in your earlier years and not fuck up your body with tattoos or piercings and all that shit, it's not sexy. It's not anything. It's just, it's terrible, man. It's terrible. I once dumped a chick because she got a tattoo on her back, man. I was just like, nah, I just can't do that shit, man. It was just awful. It took away from her. It didn't add to her, and she was beautiful. She was a pretty woman, I'll never understand that. I'll never understand that. And I'll never understand women that just kind of let themselves go in other ways too. I mean, I've run into a lot of women that I went to maybe, high school and, college with that were absolutely gorgeous, and they just fucking let themselves go. It's just unbelievable. So, I think heavily tattooed, pierced women and, letting themselves go weight-wise, I think those are all under the same roof. You got to, go with what you want, man. Go with what you want, and don't let anybody shame you. A lot of women, a lot of my friends, a lot of my blue-pilled friends, right, my bitch friends that I don't have in my life anymore, that they would just tell me, you want a Barbie doll, you want this, you want that. Fuck it. Dude, come on, bro. You know what I mean? I'm up every fucking day at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm on the elliptical or the treadmill by, 3:45, and I'm killing myself to look like this, right? At 49 fucking years old. Just take care of yourself, bro. Go out and walk. I don't care. As long as you're doing the work. I don't know. Just, I get fired up. My bad. Big notch counts is the next one, right? Talk to these women. And usually the rule is, it's the rule of 3, right? So if a woman tells you, I've only been with 1 or 2 people, that means multiply that by 3. You know what I mean? So if they've been with 1, that's 3. If they've been with 2, that's 6. If they've been with, 10, that's 20. I'm sorry, that's 30. You know what I mean? Like, I would double or triple that. I mean, seriously. That's the way I would go. So be real careful, guys. Be real careful. You don't want to date a virgin either. Virgin, they just kind of have a stick up their ass kind of thing, and they're prudes, and the ones that I've run into. Okay, I'm not talking about everybody out there. So don't put a blanket statement over this. Don't Don't kill the messenger. I'm just talking about the ones that I've run into, and that was a long time ago. But just be real careful, guys. That you don't want to go either way. You want to go with somebody that has a realistic notch count, especially for her age, and because you got notches too. You know what I mean? You can't expect somebody to be totally 100, and pure if you're not pure. You know what I mean? So you got to kind of weigh your options there, and really talk to her about it. Listen to her and see what she's talking about and how she talks about situations. If she's what I found, and I'm Catholic, okay? So I date a lot of Catholic women, and or Christian women too, you know what I mean? And what I found is when they tell you that, like I dated one just recently, I'll use this as an example. She said, "Oh, I've always been a good girl. I've never really been with a lot of guys and this and that. But yet, she went out with me. She got freaky deaky, man. Freaky deaky, man. Was all over that shit. And, second date, man, had her in bed. Does that sound like a good Catholic girl? A good Christian girl? Come on, man. You know what I mean? You got to really pay attention to their actions and not what they're saying. So, just pay attention is all I'm saying. You're never going to get a straight answer, but pay attention to her actions and how she's acting. If she says, I've had boyfriends, I've, this and that, and if they're really upfront about it, then chances are you're in pretty good shape with what she's saying. But pay attention over the years, that you date, give it a year and a half to 2 years and make sure that she's congruent with what she's saying, right? Her actions are congruent with what she's saying. It's important, guys. That's a little bit tougher, you know what I mean? But you kind of have to weigh that and feel that one out. But you'll understand. You'll understand. You'll see it. The other one is single moms, and I'm just going to refer to my to my video on single moms, guys, because I dated a lot of single moms, but that was the blue pill community telling me, that's all you're going to find. And you know what? In all fairness, at my age, that is pretty much what I find. I mean, if you're above 25 in my area and you don't have a kid, that's kind of a unicorn. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about where I live, but it's just like, dude, women start popping out kids really early, and it's just like, dude, you haven't even lived your life. And then along with that, and just refer to my video, man. You know what I mean? I got a video specifically on dating single moms, and you're never going to be number one. You're always going to be behind the babysitter, the kids, the ex-husband, the ex-boyfriend, the baby's daddy. All these other things are going to be in front of you. So if you want to date them, treat them as a plate, but don't get emotionally involved, guys, because you're never gonna get what you really want out of it. If you're like me, you know what I mean? Never once, and I always think about this, right? This is my intuition, this is my upbringing, this is what I always thought. Never once in my life when I was growing up did I ever say, you know what? I want to meet a woman that has somebody else's kids, and that's who I want to marry and have my kids with. Never once did I say that. You know what I mean? So don't sell yourself short, guys. Especially if you're 8, 9, or 10, don't fucking do that, man. It's not worth it. I'm telling you right now, the ROI is extremely low. Also read Aaron Cleary's Book of Numbers, man. Awesome book. And, he gives you the statistics on it. He gives you the numbers. If you're a numbers guy like me, man, that was a rude awakening, right? Because you got a I think it's like 2.3 or 2.7% chance of finding the woman of your dreams. Dude, it's not worth the effort, The way I see it is if God wants you to have it, it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? So follow the path of God, and I'm not trying to get super religious, I'm not a Jesus freak or anything like that, you know what I mean? But I do love him, and I do swear by him, you know what I mean? Because I know my intuition, he's talking to me through my intuition. My mom has always been really tight in the religious faith, and I just believe that he's trying to tell me something. You know what I mean? And he's trying to tell all of you something too. You just got to pay attention to it. You know what I mean? So just be aware, guys, and just sit back and enjoy life, man. Don't get involved. If you are dating a single mom, keep your options open to something else, right? But go after what you really want, man. If you don't want a single mom, if you want a single mom, then go after it, by all means. But if you don't sell yourself short either. Number 15 is pathological liars, man. You got to be really careful with this one too, man. I think my ex-fiance, maybe not so much when we were first together, because she was really honest about a lot of things, but she was holding back with a lot of things when we got back together, I don't know if I'd call her a pathological liar, but her dad was, you know what I mean? From what I understand, okay? From what I understand, I didn't know the guy, but from what I understood, he lied a lot to his family and that sort of thing. And, sometimes, guys, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So, you never know. You never know. So be really careful, Always pay attention to their actions and make sure that what they say is congruent with what they're doing. And that's how you can tell, right? So just be really careful with that. I haven't run into a tremendous amount of liars for the most part. There's been a couple that I've dated that, I found out later on that they were dating somebody else and, kind of talking to guys in the background and that sort of thing. But that's, it's a little bit of hypergamy and, solipsism and that sort of thing. Cause women are selfish, man. They're always gonna look for the better deal out there, man. So you got to be really cautious and careful for the most part. So I can't give you a specific example. I just gave you, my ex. But if it doesn't feel right, chances are it probably isn't. So pay attention to your intuition. Pay attention to the things that are happening around you. And, one thing that my ex did when we got back together during COVID was she was always on her phone, always tied to that phone. And she's a millennial, right? So that kind of goes with the territory. So I didn't really think much of it. And I trusted her when we were first together, but she was just on her phone way too much. You know what I mean? And she'd just be real secretive about it, So those are the types of signs that I would look for, so just be real careful with that, guys. I'm not saying go and search through her phone. Don't be that guy either. You know what I mean? Don't be that guy. But just make sure she's doing what she says and she says what she does. That's really the only advice I got on that one, man. That one's tough because it's a case-by-case basis, man. It really is. Baby rabies, man. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Baby rabies. I've seen that way too many times. Again, if I had a nickel for every time I've been around a chick that wanted to have my kids, oh my God, dude. I got pretty decent genes. I'm not gonna lie, right? You know, I mean, my parents had pretty good genes. You know, I don't look bad for 49 years old, and you know, so and then you know, I got a lot of stuff going for me. So you know, there's women out there that right away, man, they start talking babies. Well, what kind of baby? You know, do you want a girl, boy? Do you want this? Do you want that? Oh my God! So, you know what the conversation is now? Sorry, I got a vasectomy. I'm not having kids. And I mean, it shuts people down like that. You know what I mean? Because I'm too old. I told you guys in my video about why I got a vasectomy is, you know, I mean, I'm just too old. You know, I don't want to deal with that baby rabies shit. And I'll just cut off the conversation right then and there. I'm saying, hey, you know, if you want to date me and you want to have babies in the future, it's not happening. I'm telling you right now. So it's going to kill a lot of my relationships, but I'm okay with that, you know? And I thought about that before I had the vasectomy. So those are some things that you might want to think about, you know, before having your vasectomy. You know, if you're thinking in that direction, you want to be real careful and make sure you think of all aspects, you know, what you're going to be running into. And, you know, if you're okay with that, go for it, man. Because you know what? It's probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. So, you know, but hey, be careful. Once you get the vasectomy, you got to wait. I think it's 12 weeks. You got to wait 12 weeks. You got to be really careful. You got to wear a condom, all that during those 12 weeks because you're not fully void. You know, it's just not instantaneous. So you got to be real careful, guys. So just word of caution there, right? But just be really careful. Be really careful with women talking about babies. Hissy fits. Oh man, you know what I mean? Like, you got to date women that are just cool, that have your personality, that have your laid back. You know, I'm a real laid back type of person. So I have to date women that are laid back, that are chill, that have that, you know what I mean? If you get pissed off or, you know, take things the wrong way or whatever, I don't have time for that, man. You know, life's too short. And the older I get, the less fucks I give. So I'm out of here. You know what I mean? You know, if we're on a date and you're on your cell phone and you're, you know, because usually what I'll do, I don't know, for the first, 3-4 dates or whatever, you know, I'll say, hey, meet me, you know, let's meet out and this and that. I usually get a good feel after the second date, you know, whatever, but I'll say, meet me out. But if they're on their phone the whole time or whatever, I'm out. And if they throw a hissy fit over that shit, you're a fucking asshole, you left me over there and this and that, then it just makes me happier to be gone, right? Gone, bro. I'm telling you, man. And you know, when chicks throw hissy fits, just take that as, okay, I'm going the other way. You know, you just got to be really careful. You know, erratic behavior, just off the charts kind of shit. You know, that means they're spoiled. You know, it's probably connected to a daddy issue, something with their dad. You know, find out about that. You know, you're going to see a connection there. Somebody who makes maybe a lot of money, somebody who's maybe even a feminist, you know what I mean? Somebody who makes a lot of money, who makes their own money, who's a boss girl or whatever, and they throw hissy fits because they don't get their way, because they're used to getting their way. Get out of there, man. Don't even entertain it. You know, ghost them. Get the fuck out, man. Seriously, I wouldn't even put the effort into that. You know, I don't care how hot she is, because there's a new bus every 15 minutes, guys. So be real careful with that. The next one is number 18, is not being in control of the birth. You know, if you read Rollo Tomasi's book, his iron rules are, one of them is always be in control of the birth, right? So you always want to wear a condom. You always want to put a sock on the pickle. You always want to be aware of what's going on, right? You know, think of it this way, guys. 1 night of passion can be a lifetime of a nightmare. I mean, bottom line, right? Because if you have sex with the woman, okay, she's hot and you don't have a condom or whatever, you better stop and get a condom, or you better call it off and just say, hey, you know what? I don't have a condom. Let's do this another time. If she doesn't like it, that's another red flag. That's a hissy fit. Get her the fuck out. You know, it's no big deal. I've had to turn down women all the time. And the one thing that I've always thought about, guys, and if you can take one thing from this video, take this, okay? The one thing that I always thought about before, you know, I went to bed with the woman was, if I were to get this woman pregnant, if the condom were to bust or something like that, would I want this chick to be the mother of my children? Would I want to deal with this woman for 18, at least minimum 18 years? You know what? The answer was a consistent no. So, I mean, there was times when I would do the deed, but I strap on 2 hats, or I do something, you know what I mean? Or we figure something else out, right? Or I just wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. You know, sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze, and you kind of have to go the other way. So if there's one thing you can get out of this video, guys, is always ask yourself before you go to bed with a woman, before you get hot and bothered with some hot ass chick that you bring home, do I want this chick to have my kids? If the answer is no, then you got to make a decision, man. You got to make a decision. Figure something else out, or just don't do it. You know, she's going to get pissed off, but if she throws a hissy fit, that's another reason to get her to the fuck out and get rid of her ass. You know what I mean? So, you know, obsession breeds, wait, what's the, oh man, it's a Corey Wayne term. Oh my God, dude, I'm getting it all messed up. Rejection breeds obsession. So if they get obsessed and if they get pissed off, that's a hissy fit, man. Get her the fuck out. You know what I mean? So, but if she respects you, that's even more of a reason to keep going, right? She says, you know what? I respect that. I once had a chick that, you know, I said, nah, you know, we really can't do this right now. I don't think it's the right place, it's the right time. You know, I didn't use the fact that I didn't have a condom or something like that. You know what I mean? But I just bowled it over and I said, you know what, I really like you. You know, I want to wait till we can, you know, have a time with her alone or whatever the case. I don't know if I was at a party or I don't remember, whatever. Anyway, it's irrelevant. But I said no, right? And she actually respected that. She was like, oh shit. And you know what? The next time we went out, when I was ready, it was harder than shit, dude. Oh my God, man. You build that anticipation. Sometimes that's the best thing, man. That's the best aphrodisiac. Build that fucking anticipation. Say no once in a while. Get her hot and bothered. You know what I mean? And just say, yeah, you know, I gotta wake up kind of early and shit. You know what I mean? Even if you don't, who cares? When you do the D, it's gonna be fucking off the hook, man. You know what I mean? I'm not saying do that all the time, because a lot of times you got to take advantage of the situation, but there are certain times when you want to do something like that, especially if a chick, you know, knows she's hot and you know things are going to happen. You know, just pull back a little bit. Just say, you know, I really like you, but, you know, I got to wake up early in the morning. I got some shit to do, you know, but, you know, I want to see you. I want to see you again. And, you know, let's hold off on this for a minute, dude. She's going to be texting you some sweet shit during the week or whatever. And then when you see each other next, woo! It's going to be like Hancock, boy. In that one scene, she blows that woman through the roof. Oh my God. It's going to be like that, man. I'm telling you right now, man. I speak from experience on that one. So the next one is drama queens, man. You know, you don't want somebody who's causing drama all the time. You know, you don't want one of these boss girls. Oh man, I'm doing I'm doing this. And you want to pay really close attention to the way they interact with their friends, the way they've interacted in the past with, their ex guys, and even their guy friends or girlfriends and stuff like that. And you want to make sure that they're not causing trouble. You want to make sure that. And then when they start giving you shit, right? Because no matter what, guys, a woman's going to test you. A woman is always going to test you, right? But know how to deal with it. Turn it into a joke. If somebody gives you shit about, like this one girl gave me shit about my creamer being outside right next to the creamer, right next to the coffee, you know what I mean? But it's one of those creamers that you can store either, cold or room temp. And she gave me shit about that, and I turned it into a joke, But that was a test, see? That was a test, and I passed the test. So you got to pay attention to that, right? And if she takes it that much further and gets kind of pissed off, give her a soft next. Just say, I don't really like the way you're talking to me right now. So, why don't you call me in a couple days when you change your attitude? Just say it like that. Really nice, diplomatic. And I guarantee you, man, if she takes off, if she leaves, fuck her. Whatever, who cares? But chances are she will come back and she'll respect you even more. Okay? So be real careful with that, guys. Addictions is the last one. And this one's where I have a lot of experience. My ex, as you guys know, she was an alcoholic. And that was just one thing. I tried to be a captain, a little bit of a captain, but I really love that woman. You know what I mean? I loved her. You know what I mean? It was a very different situation than, and you guys probably pull my man card when I said that right now, but and thinking about it. But the thing is that she was just something that I had never encountered before. I mean, she just had a lot of great characteristics about her, just off the charts, that we got along on so many different levels. I mean, every day, every minute, every second that I spent with her was a good time. I mean, it was a good time. It was no pressure, no stress. The only time that it was stressful is when she started drinking, and that caused a lot of other issues, And she was a completely different person when she was drinking. I mean, completely different. She was, she'd accuse me of cheating on her, so that's how I thought she was cheating on me. She would just get really depressed. She was not as bubbly as she usually was. Just all kinds of issues, man. And it was just one of those things that it just wasn't worth it anymore. I was really, in retrospect, I was really lucky that I didn't go and get married to her. Because the addiction, and I don't, I gotta admit, guys, I don't really understand addiction, because I'm not an addictive personality. If I want to stop something, I'll stop. Bottom line, you know what I mean? And to be honest with you, I think of people with addictions as weak. Alcoholics. My best friend was an alcoholic. My ex was an alcoholic. They were weak people. They really were, because they didn't have anything else in their life. My addiction really is working out. I mean, I love to work out, and I love the endorphin rush that I get. Take some pre-workout, go pump some weights, go hit the cardio, and dude, I am set for the rest of the fucking day, man. I feel fantastic, But, for my ex and my best friend, they just they couldn't get out of that infinite loop. They would drink and they would think that would solve their problems. Guys, even though you drink and you take drugs or whatever to try to get away from your problems are always there. They don't go away just because you had some beer or you had some, drugs the night before. They just don't go away, You have to learn how to deal with it, and honestly, working out for me is it helps me deal with my shit. It helps the stress level. It helps a lot of things, and that's what you guys have to do, You guys have to really find what you love to do and do it all the time. And the beauty of finding somebody your equivalent, right? Somebody that you want to spend the rest of your life with, right? Is you got to find somebody that has the same interests as you, right? Like my ex-fiance, we had the same interests. We met at the gym and then she stopped going to the gym. And I never really understood that. We also had cars in common. We had, pieces of cars in common. So we had a lot to talk about, and she was a really intelligent woman. So, her and I can talk intelligently on so many different levels, So that's what you really want to find out, but if they have an addiction that they can't get out of, it's like being in an infinite loop that you can't get out of. And they're trying to get out of it, but it's just there. And what they don't understand is, you have your problem, you drink to forget about your problem, but the problem's still there. And because you drank, you're causing more problems. So it's just adding on to your problems. And that's what I didn't understand. That happened to my best friend. I mean, he piled on the problems before he died. And it just got him further and further from his goals. I've been in a tough situation. I've drank before, you know what I mean? I was drinking when I first broke up with my ex-fiance, I drank. I did, man. I mean, I would spend my evenings drinking, just feeling sorry for myself and being a bitch about the whole situation. Then one day I just woke up and I was just like, fuck this, man. You know what? This is no way to spend my life. I'm just getting older and I'm not getting any better. So I threw it all away and I started working out and put all my negative efforts into something positive, and that's what you see now, man. And I lost everything, guys. I lost my home, a home that I put, money into, time, effort, and I shared with somebody that I really loved and cared about. I lost it all, man. I lost it all. The only thing I had to my name was my Jeep and some clothes, man. That was pretty much it. And I had a chair. I did get a chair. It's like, fuck that. I'm taking this chair, man. You know what I mean? It was one of the chair's here, man. It's a I'm not getting rid of that chair because it signifies something, right? It's my fucking chair. You know what I mean? I'm not getting rid of this chair. I don't know. That was funny, man. You had to be there, man. I was just like, dude, I'm taking this chair. God damn it. You know what I mean? But you got to be. Don't sell yourself short, guys. Don't sell yourself short, man. You guys you guys who are listening to me, man, are all fantastic human beings. Okay? Maybe you're not where you want to be. And that's okay. But get to that point. Find where you are and find where you want to be and figure out a roadmap to get there. Okay? Make yourselves a better person every single day. Wake up and do something that improves your life, guys. And you know what? All of those little bricks that you build every day will add up and it'll build a fucking mansion. It'll build your fortress of fucking solitude. And that's exactly what happened to me, man. You know, I was down in the dumps when I was, you know, when her and I broke up. Every day I put something positive in my life, and look at where I am now, man. Life is fucking great. Okay? So hopefully you guys got something out of this video. I wanted to really use his red flags because they're fantastic, man. If you get a chance, get his book. You know, it's called Unplug Alpha. It's a great book. I read it. Fantastic book. But Corey Wayne is my man. Read his book 10 to 15 times. And I'm always going to say that 3% man. But become a better version of yourself, man. And women, you know, life itself is going to be abundant. Not just women, not just, you know, everything else. Everything is going to be abundant in your life. You know, and put God in your life. You know, if you guys are close to God, you know, I suggest putting God in your life in one way or another, you know, depending on what religion you are, or if you're atheist, you know, just believe in a higher being, and that something wonderful is out there for you. You know, if you don't necessarily believe in a God, just believe that the universe has something beautiful out there for you, and believe that in your heart. And if you buy into that strategy, your life is going to get so much better, guys. All right. Hey, been a while, been a long video, about an hour, but hey, I really hope you guys got something out of this video. All right. Hey, if you want to hook up and, you know, get some coaching, some video coaching, or, you know, one-on-one coaching, hit me up. The description's below. Love to hear from you. Email me questions, comments. If you want me to do a video, I'm more than happy to do it. We can talk about, you know, cost or whatever. You guys stay up, man. Love you guys. Hang in there. Later.